If you're in your 20s, you probably feel a constant pressure to do more. Start a business, go to the gym, build your career, learn 5 new skills. You're ambitious, but for some reason, you can't remain consistent. You overthink, you plan, you scroll, and then feel guilty for not doing enough. Look, I know exactly how that feels because I've been there. But since then, I've been able to start million-dollar businesses with a global team, finish university, take care of my parents, travel and see more of the world, and work with some of the largest brands in the world. And it all started with the 5 steps that I'll be sharing with you today. Number 1, embrace disappointment as a wake-up call. There's nothing wrong with being disappointed. It means that you really care. If you have set yourself a standard, but you haven't been able to fulfill upon that promise, then of course you're going to feel guilty, you're going to feel disappointed, you're going to feel upset. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. In fact, that's your mind telling you to correct your behavior. See, the only way in which that's a failure is if you allow your past behavior to dictate how you move forward. So in this moment, we have to be honest with where we currently stand. If we're not and we continuously lie about our progress, then in no way are we going to be able to actually achieve our ultimate dreams. So in this moment, take a second to embrace it. It's okay. If you then follow suit with the following steps, I promise you, you'll leave this video in a significantly better place than you came in. But it only works if you're honest with yourself. Number 2, the difference between growth and procrastination loops. Procrastination actually disguises itself often as progression. If we're looking at the differences in each of its cycles, on one hand, for procrastination, you have learn, 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 and learn. You have no implementation versus in terms of progression, you have learn, apply, learn, apply, learn, apply, and you have this repeated cycle. If you really take the difference between each of those behaviors across the span of many different years, then that's when you're looking at a multitude of degrees of separation. Effectively growing a skill is two-faceted. On one hand, you have the encoding process, the ability to intake the information, but then you have the ability to retrieve that information through active practice. It's only when you can do both consistently that you reap the benefits of your work. In fact, I would even go as far to say the applying is significantly more important than the intake of information. I've been very fortunate to grow million-dollar businesses, and I have never read one time a business book. All of my learnings have come from a willingness to explore, to experiment, to ideate, and then to put it on the real world and to fail publicly and to fail boldly. Now, maybe I would have actually saved myself from a lot of the mistakes if I had actually read a business book. But in that meantime, all I had thought about was I need to get the ball rolling. I need to go and apply what I am currently thinking in my brain, because if I'm constantly trapped in my own head, then there's going to be no real progression being made. And so up to this point in time, I've been able to successfully do it again through the process of maybe watching a few YouTube videos here and there after having some discussions and then experimenting every other bit of it. But throughout that experience, now I really do believe I've accumulated a lot of this business knowledge in order for me to even take it from $4 million that we've currently generated to hopefully $10 million in the coming years. But what I'm trying to tell you is simple. You are a lot smarter than you probably think that you are. You're just constantly in this bubble of repeating this learning process, and it's disguising it as progression because it actually does take work. But to work smart, it means that you're actually effectively using your time. In doing so, I believe application is going to be more important. Now, before we move on, I have to say that these final 3 tips are the ones that have changed my life the most. And I really do believe they give you the best chance to cure your laziness, so stick around. Number 3, the magic is in the work that you are avoiding. I'm going to once again tell you that you're much smarter than you're giving yourself credit for. I really do believe you know what it is that you have to do. You know where you lack and you know where you want to progress in, and likely the space between that is the hard work that you're avoiding. The thing that you're actually avoiding right now is what's going to make the greatest deliverance. We often trick our brains to focus on the minuscule, to focus on the areas that aren't as important but feel easier, to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, to make us feel like we're busy, to make us feel like we're making progress. But the truth is, I would find that most important task, even if it is the hardest, and pour all of my, what I know to be limited energy into absolving that particular pain. And the trickling effect that occurs after completing that hard work is incredibly profound. For example, at Creative College, we started off as a really small team, and I got accustomed to wearing all the various hats, from marketing to fulfillment to sales. But what was once a necessity, we knew that in order for us to progress as a business, we would need to bring bring more people on. But hiring actually sucks. It takes a lot of time, energy, and money to find good talent. Not only that, you have to spend significant time training them, because what you're good at and you're trying to bring someone onto your team, you have to ensure that they know how to work the same way that you would, or hopefully better than you would. And because of that, I kept making excuses and saying, I'll take care of it, I'll do it. But in reality, I was just avoiding the hard work. And then when we made our first hire, yes, we spent a lot of time, energy, and money to train them. But after they were positioned, you start to see the output. You start to see the return on your investment, and you knew, okay, this was the hard work that I was avoiding. And then we went on to hire about 6 or 7 new employees in the span of a month and a half. And the business has never been healthier. It's never been stronger. And even when we have talent and we know, okay, this actually wasn't the right fit, we don't mind now letting that talent go to know that we can bring somebody else in. We've kind of allowed ourselves to dive into that process even further more. So what you need to understand here is simple. So you have to reframe this resistance that you're feeling towards this work and know that it's a sign of importance. Number 4, get good at one thing. This is incredibly important now in our social media world, where we're constantly exposed to so many eye candies. Everyone tells you their pursuit in life, their decision in life was the best one. So from the van life to drop shipping to affiliate marketing to pursuing law or to being a digital nomad, you're going to have temptations all the time. The truth is, any one of those pursuits could actually lead to a very successful and fulfilling life. But the reality is, if you try to choose all of them at once, you will never win in any one of them. So I know exactly how you feel, where it's impossible to try and perfect the decision now. You think, I can't do this because I'm going to leave out this possibility for myself. But don't think of it that way. Life isn't linear like that. Life is very much this intertangling of various pursuits, where you start to build one skill and then you recognize, wow, okay, this adjacent skill I'm now picking up on. Okay, well, now further on in this pursuit, I'm realizing I have this other passion of mine. Let me go and develop that. But it all starts with a decision that you make, that I'm going to pursue this for the interim moment, knowing that that's the only way that you're going to make true progress moving forward. So for the rest of this year, I really want you to just focus on one area of expertise. Win in that area first. Garner some confidence, knowing that you've been able to actually fulfill upon a commitment that you've made. That is the secret. That is significantly more powerful than spreading yourself thin, and I promise you'll thank me later for this. Number 5, find the right system for you. The 3 are time-based systems, tracking and feedback systems, or environment-based systems. Time-based systems that help you create a fixed schedule that removes decision fatigue, tracking and feedback systems that measure progress to stay aware and motivated, and environment-based systems to shape your surroundings in order to make good habits easy and bad ones hard. You know, I've said this over and over again, it's not so important to make these goals. It's significantly more important to make systems for yourselves, to make the inputs easier, to make the actual daily actions easier. And any one of these systems are going to be a great way to initiate this behavior. Now, you can actually let me in the comments too right now. If one of these systems are very interesting to you, I'm more than happy to make a video dedicated to it. But systems are everything. That's what takes the guesswork out of the process. If you're constantly facing procrastination, if you're constantly feeling like you're running out of time, if you're constantly feeling like you're pouring in the time and energy, but the results aren't there to show for it, it's likely a system issue than anything else. To keep it very simple, a system has inputs and it has outputs. It's what you're doing and it's the outcome of your effort. If you can optimize the system, you can put in less effort and still have more to show for it. That's the ultimate goal of a system. It allows you to track your behavior, to assess it, and then to ultimately be able to take that feedback and refine continuously the set of variables, or in other words, the set of actions that you're taking on a regular basis. I've personally never met somebody that runs on systems that isn't an incredibly successful person. So just choose one of those 3 to begin with, and then ultimately you can build an entire ecosystem of these. And there's definitely going to be preferences that you find, so maybe you gravitate to one of those 3 areas, you try it, you realize it isn't for you, then you try another system and you realize, that is for you. It's okay to adhere to that second one, to let go of the first one. It's about just how you optimize for your personal life. With that being said, that wraps up the 5 important tips. Thank you so much for watching. Leave this video a thumbs up and a comment, and of course, subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you all at the top.